Imagine an ordinary man with an extraordinary mission. In an era where faith and idolatry waged incessant battles, Elijah stood out as the fearless prophet who challenged not just a king but the very heavens. Elijah lived in a time of great spiritual turbulence in Israel, where King Ahab, influenced by Queen Jezebel, led the people into idolatry, worshipping pagan gods like Baal. With a burning zeal for Yahweh, the God of Israel, Elijah received a divine mission that began with a shocking revelation: to announce a severe drought upon the land as punishment for the people's and their king's disobedience. By the Lord, God of Israel, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word. With this proclamation, the land dried up, bringing famine and thirst. Guided by God, Elijah hid by the brook Cherith, where he was miraculously fed by ravens that brought him bread and meat daily. During these days, Elijah kept in constant prayer and reflection, seeking divine guidance for the next steps. The cold and silent nights were broken only by the sound of the wind and the ravens, but Elijah never felt alone. He felt the constant presence of God, guiding his every move. The prolonged drought began to show its most severe effects. The crops failed, and the scarcity of water made life unbearable for the inhabitants of Israel. However, Elijah's faith remained unshaken, for he knew everything was within God's plans. When the brook dried up, God sent Elijah to Zarephath, where a desperate widow, about to consume her last meal, would be the next instrument of his provision. Meeting the woman gathering wood, Elijah asked her for water and a piece of bread. With tears in her eyes, she explained that she had only a handful of flour and a little oil, enough for one last cake for her and her son. Elijah, with unwavering faith, assured her that if she fed him first, God would ensure that her flour and oil would not run out until the end of the drought. And so it was, day after day, a continuous miracle of provision. Living with the widow and her son brought a new meaning to Elijah's mission. He not only saw God's hand in action daily, but also felt the direct impact of his words and actions on the lives of these people. Each morning, seeing the oil jar full and the flour replenishing, Elijah reinforced his own faith and that of those around him. However, joy turned to despair when the widow's son fell seriously ill and died. Desolate, the widow blamed Elijah, but he, without hesitation, took the boy in his arms, carried him to the upper room, and prayed fervently. O Lord my God, let this boy's life return to him. 3 times he stretched himself out over the boy's body, and God heard his plea. The boy revived, and Elijah brought him down in his arms, returning him to his mother, who, moved, recognized the truth and power of the God of Israel. The emotion of that moment was palpable. The widow, who had lost all hope, now saw her son alive again, a testament to God's power through Elijah. This miracle not only saved a life but also solidified the faith of the widow and her entire community. The news of the miracle spread quickly, and many began to see Elijah as the true prophet of God. But Elijah's mission was far from over. God called him to a final and spectacular confrontation with the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel. Before all the people of Israel, Elijah proposed a test of faith. 2 altars would be erected, one for Baal and one for Yahweh. The prophets of Baal called on their God from morning till noon, but nothing happened. Elijah then prayed with fervor and confidence, and fire from heaven came down, consuming the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and even the water around the altar. The people, witnessing this overwhelming power, fell face down and proclaimed, The Lord is God! The Lord is God! Mount Carmel was surrounded by growing tension. The prophets of Baal shouted and cut themselves, hoping their God would respond, but the silence was deafening. Elijah, observing the scene, felt the confirmation of his mission. When it was his turn, he rebuilt the altar of the Lord, dug a trench around it, and soaked everything with water, making it impossible for human fire to ignite it. And then, with a simple and sincere prayer, the sky opened, and divine fire descended. The crowd, in shock, saw the truth before their eyes and bowed in worship to the true God. However, the victory on Mount Carmel came at a high cost. Jezebel, furious at the death of Baal's prophets, vowed to kill Elijah. Frightened, he fled into the desert, where, exhausted and despairing, he asked God to take his life. Under a tree, Elijah fell asleep, but was awakened by an angel who provided him with bread and water. Strengthened, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Horeb, where he took refuge in a cave. This period was one of great introspection for Elijah. He questioned his mission, his faith, and even his own life. But God never abandoned him, sending an angel to sustain and renew him. On Mount Horeb, Elijah experienced one of the deepest encounters with God. A strong wind, an earthquake, and a fire passed, but God was not in them. Then came a gentle whisper, and Elijah covered his face with his cloak, going out to meet the presence of the Lord. God comforted him, reaffirmed his mission, and instructed him to anoint new leaders and prophets, including Elisha, who would succeed him. This moment of revelation was crucial. Elijah understood that the true presence of God was not in great phenomena, but in the calm and quiet of a heart that listens. Elijah, faithfully fulfilling all of God's instructions, was finally taken up to heaven in a whirlwind, an ascension that symbolized divine closeness and power. His life and actions left a legacy of faith and courage that continues to inspire to this day. True leadership, as demonstrated by Elijah, requires not only bravery but also the ability to listen and follow God's voice, even amidst the greatest adversities. Elijah's story is a journey of unwavering faith and unparalleled courage. From devastating prophecies to surprising miracles, his life was a living testimony of God's power and faithfulness. Each challenge he faced, each miracle he performed, reminds us that true strength lies not in the absence of fear but in the determination to act with faith despite it. Elijah shows us that with God, even the impossible becomes reality. Come discover more about these incredible stories that defy the ordinary and reveal profound truths. Subscribe to our channel, activate notifications, and share these stories to inspire more people. Join us in this ongoing adventure of discovery and inspiration. Elijah's story, with its combination of miracles, challenges, and unwavering faith, continues to resonate through the ages. Elijah teaches us that even when we face our greatest fears and adversities, faith and courage can guide us. His journey is not just a reminder of the past, but a continuous call for each of us to find our own courage and faith, and believe that with God, everything is possible. This is the legacy of Elijah, a prophet who not only challenged kings and heavens but also showed us the true power of unwavering faith. If this story inspired you, imagine what else you can discover on our channel. Leave your comments below about what touched you the most in Elijah's journey. Like and share this video with your friends and family so they can also be inspired. And if you want to continue exploring stories that defy the ordinary and reveal profound truths, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications. Each video is a new adventure waiting for you. Join us, and